Library City Council Committee meeting to review all options regarding the library building project. A recommendation is made to apply for alternate public purpose use of FEMA funds for the Denied Community Center project. To utilize these funds for the new library building, see attached staff reports. How do we start off here? Do we talk about numbers, or?
Well, Your Honor, we, in the past, dated June 13th, there's a letter from the library board requesting that they be allowed to apply for the FEMA funds. City Council and the library formed a subcommittee, of which the mayor, council member Hansi, myself, a couple library board members, Susan, we've been sitting in and talking about. I think we've gone through a fairly extensive process of site locations that might have potential, funding sources, and one of the first things that we really needed to get an answer on was whether these FEMA funds were going to be available or not, because it really makes a big difference, obviously, in the project. Certainly can report that the scale of the building has been brought down somewhat. Cost has come down as well, and from that we're sort of proceeding forward as to I think finalizing a proposal that we'd bring back to the full council for funding and site location. But as part of that, and while we're still doing the work of the subcommittee, we'd like the subcommittee is making a recommendation that the library board go ahead and be allowed to act on their request and at least apply for these funds to see if they could be used for a new building.
You have any thoughts, Mark?
I guess to go along with what Mr. Sarvey has said, we did discuss several different locations, as well as what the board has run into in the past. We also discussed the downsizing, potential downsizing of a new building, the effects of some budgetary items, and what the building would cost to run on its own. They're willing to make some concessions. This FEMA dollars are probably one of the keystones to this project either moving forward or not. So,
Anybody have any other ideas for that?
Nothing to know.
I guess
What?
Any other ideas for the FEMA money if it has to be broken over?
We haven't, I don't think we've adequately explored all of the other options or uses for this money within the city. We haven't, the EDA has not really had an opportunity to explore potential uses that they might still have or needed for. There's been limited discussion, I think, of it.
what do you think of Vern? I guess as far as the EDA, are they going to have an office, or because this is for a public use facility that is brick and mortar?
There was some talk of an incubator.
Okay.
That's
what I'm wondering.
Business incubator, but that really has never been, the ball has never really been knocked into their court either.
Okay.
You know, the discussions have been extremely limited, I think, on other potential uses. So it's, I think that's discussion that we need to have. And I think we also have to, along with the rest of our strategic planning, really have to figure out the rest of the steps that are hinging off of that money, off of the use of that money, or off of the development that could or might not happen. It's a little too iffy yet, in my mind. I guess I would like to know more, you know, as far as the options are concerned here. that makes more sense to me, just because I don't necessarily wanna be operating in the dark.
I guess I don't view it as operating in the dark as much as we're applying for an alternate project that after 2 projects have been denied, and they have been the most active group in this town. You know. So,
If you make the request to FEMA and they say yes, you still don't have to take it, but at least you would know.
At least we would know. I think that's where the subcommittee really nailed down was, we don't even know if it's applicable. And if it's not, then the funded use of, the funding of a new library is gonna be that much more complicated. If it is, then there's other things that still need to fall into place. Working with Mike and Bonnie, we came up with a certain dollar amount that we could hit, and it's less than what they need. So they are still required, would be required, even if we got the funding from FEMA, even if the council agreed to go forward under the financing plan that we came up with and apply this money to the library, they would still need to go out and fundraise a fairly significant amount of money. But it's a lot less than what they would need to without it.
What is the drop dead date on the use of the FEMA money?
That I'm not aware of.
Okay.
I don't know.
When does it have to be spent?
I don't think there's a limit on where it has to be spent, but you have to get your
Get it.
approval from them. You have to get your applications in and get their approval to spend.
And
And if they know you're progressing, then they'll allow you time.
I think all the subcommittee really wants is to say, library board, go ahead and apply for this alternative use. We have no idea if FEMA's gonna say yes or not, and we won't know until we apply. That's all we are asking. Put it out, just put it out there, will FEMA approve it, give them a chance to make the formal application. Otherwise, we're gonna keep on spinning our heels here forever, and I just want to get an answer.
It's also my understanding that if we do not move forward with the FEMA application, USDA will pull their funds.
no,
Not yet?
no,
No? Okay.
it's a completely separate issue, but
It's a separate issue.
the USDA has been willing to stay on the sideline and let the subcommittee work its process through. But they will, at some
They
point,
want
will
an
come
answer
and
at
say,
some point,
yeah, they
yeah.
want the council to say we're gonna use the money or
Okay.
not.
How about having the EDA check out different possibilities like burns?
Well, how about we apply, let the library apply and see if they can get it, and the EDA can explore possibilities while that process is going forward. Is that acceptable?
I got no problem. We haven't committed ourselves to anything, and we don't know how long it's gonna take for that.
Exactly, we are not committing ourselves. All we need to do is let them apply. And if we come up with something better, maybe we'll do something better. But in
I'll
the meantime,
move we allow them to apply without committing to use the money for that purpose.
explain that motion, please.
Allow them to apply, but we are not committing the money to that use. We're just looking for an answer from FEMA whether we could use it there.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Robertson, second by Mr. Dahl. Any comment? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes with Mr. Bunkie opposed. Go ahead and get that paperwork going, and then see if the answer FEMA will give us as to whether or not we can use the FEMA money denied to the community center and put it towards the library project.
And then the EDA should look at that starting tomorrow,
Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow night.
so we'll add that to the agenda.